Hello, Assalamualaikum and good evening. My name is Muhammad Adib bin Zurami and today I will present about my research project. My supervisor is Madam Nuriani binti Sabturani. Okay, my research title is Physical Activity and Sedentary Behavior among UiTM Samaran students. For background of study, PA is described as movement of the body caused by skeletal muscle that increase energy expand. PA is healthy way for people to enhance their physical, physiological and emotional health, and it also can affect their life of view and well-being positively. For sedentary behavior, for example, for sedentary behavior is like watching television, using computer, listening to music, driving and so on. Any walking behavior with energy cost of 1.5 mets is classified as sedentary activity, which including sitting and lying down. Okay, next for the problem statement. In a study by Tuija 2007, who assessed the physical activity among gender, males was reported to be highly active compared to female respondents. Because of most research assume similar result, with male being more active than female, sedentary behavior may be reported differently. As a result, the study was determined the level of physical activity and sedentary behavior in gender among university students at UiTM campus Samarahan. For the research question and research objective. First, for the research question is there any significant difference between gender in physical activity among UiTM Samarahan student? And second, is there any significant difference between gender in sedentary behavior among UiTM Samarahan student? For the research objective is to identify the physical activity between gender among UiTM Samarahan student and to identify sedentary behavior between gender among UiTM Samarahan student. For the hypothesis that we will check, there is no significant difference in physical activity between gender among UiTM Samarahan student, and the other one is there is a significant difference in physical activity between gender among UiTM Samarahan student. Next, the second hypothesis is there is no significant difference in sedentary behavior between gender among UiTM Samarahan student, and there is a significant difference in sedentary behavior between gender among UiTM Samarahan student. So in the result, we will check if there is a significant difference or no significant difference. For the significance of study, benefit is the help of UiTM Samarahan student determine whether people or student is active or inactive on their daily routine, may assist the learner in focusing and adapting a better lifestyle. For the limitation and the limitation is the question is formed because some of the student may not be understand the question or hard to understand. Some respondent can be unhonest. For the delimitation, the respondent needs to compare questionnaire, which is IPAC International Physical Activity Questionnaire and Sedentary Behavior Questionnaire SBQ. Respondent are UiTM Samarahan student, either male or female, and IPAC and SBQ used to measure the level of physical activity and to estimate the overall physical activity by gender. So the definition of terms, physical activity is a movement that created by skeletal muscle that increase energy consumption above a metabolic rate. Regular physical activity will improve one health and quality of life as well as health. Sedentary behavior, any working activity with an energy expenditure of 1.5 mat or less is a sitting or lying posture. This study books is into this idea by looking at workplace energy cost mat. Okay, for the literature review, we will go to some journals. The title is Physical Activity, Inactive and Sedentary Behavior. The purpose of this study was to determine the physical activity performed by student, its frequency and intensity, and how this physical activity may related to their physical fitness and academic success. So the independent is female and male university student, and the finding is IPAC questionnaire show the majority of the student answer and analyze. The result that show more positive, as 7.4 of students reported not being involved in vigorous or moderate exercise. However, 26.6% of students reported not performing any vigorous exercise. Okay, next for the second literature review. The title is Physical Activity and Sedentary Behavior Among Youth. So the research objective is to determine the proportion of young meeting the guideline for youth physical activity and exam between physical activity and different sedentary behavior. So the independent variable is young male and female at age 15 until 16 years old. So the result, the discussion were boys were more physically active than girls, especially regarding to the boys and girls who reported to be participant in this study. Next, title, Physical Activity and Sedentary Behavior Among University Students. So the independent variables are university students. So the aim study was to explore the relation between physical activity and sedentary behavior among university students related to the different dimension of health and education. So the finding is type of physical activity undertaken and is matching to the needs of the young person, affect their objective and subjective of their quality of life. Next, move on to chapter 3, which is methodology. Research design. The non-experimental is research design that is the best design for this research to accomplish the study objective. This study also use an online survey method, which is more convenient method currently. This analysis is full since the researcher needs to collect data on minor phenomena. If researcher has a good understanding on the social phenomena or behavior, researcher will employ a descriptive analysis. Okay, for this study, research framework, independent variables are UiTM samaran student, which is gender, male and female, and dependent variables is physical activity and sedentary behavior. For the population and sampling, population of this study is UiTM samaran student, which is about 7,229 students in the campus will be randomly selected as respondent. The amount of respondent will be divided separate into two campus, which is campus 1 4,562 and 2,667 from campus 2. This respondent of this research is UiTM samaran student from different faculty and different gender. For the instrument to begin, the respondent must fill their background, age, gender, and this questionnaire contains two areas, which is demographic from section A and section B. Section B will be use the item which is international physical activity questionnaire, which is IPAC, and the sedentary behavior questionnaire. There are 10 elements and 2 sub-dimensions in this questionnaire. 2 sub-dimensions which is divided into 5 sedentary and 5 active activity. Direction is respondent just read the question following items and fill in with their answer, scaling from 1 to 5 based on time and hour. For the inferential statistic analysis for the hypothesis, all the hypotheses will be used the independent sample t-test. So based on what you can see, this is a data collection step from research proposal until the report writing. For data analysis, using the social science statistics software, which is SPSS, researcher will employ descriptive statistics to assess the demographic of the respondent. Inferential statistics were employed to accept or reject the null hypothesis. To determine physical activity and sedentary behavior, a questionnaire is used. Next, for the chapter 4 is result. Objective of this study is to investigate physical activity and sedentary behavior among UiTM Samaran student campus Samarahan in gender categories. Male and female full-time students were dependent variable in this study, while physically active and sedentary behavior among UiTM Samaran students were the independent variables. The data was also important and it was evaluated using SPSS. Okay, for the normality test, for IPAC, skewness is 4.323 and for kurtosis is 19.6 and for the Shapiro is 0.00. Next, for the SBQ is 0.037 and the kurtosis is negative 0.188 and Shapiro is 0.001. Skewness and kurtosis value were normally distributed. Next, I will talk about reliability. The reliability statistic test is for IPAC and SBQ. From 10 items, divide into 5 for the IPAC and 5 for the SBQ. The current study was shown in table. The comeback alpha for IPAC is 0.503 and SBQ is 0.395. Okay, for the IPAC, which is 0.503, it bit lower because the questionnaire is not suitable for the test. So that's why the reliability for combat alpha IPAC is low, which is 0.53 for the 5 item. And next 5 item, which is sedentary behavior questionnaire, SBQ reliability test, is 0.395. It's also the same because it's not suitable for the test because the question was combined 5 plus 5 and it will be 10 questionnaire and the reliability test is a bit low. Okay, next for the respondent demographic, which is age. The participant age distribute was shown in a table. Those 18 to 20 were 54.3% and 21 to 23 years old was 44.5% and 24 to 26 years old is 1.1%. So that's the percent for the respondent age demographic. Next, for gender, which is male and female, the percent for the male is 69.5 and for the female is 30.5. The frequency is 306 for male and for female is 134. The distribution of the respondent gender was shown in the table, where male is more than female. For the descriptive statistic of the dependent variable, so the descriptive mean and standard deviation statistic for the dependent study variables have been shown in the table. In the first place, the highest mean score is 3.28. That the score was based on 5 scale from 1, which is none, to 5, which is 2 hours. Okay, next for the inferential statistic, which is IPAC, the results show that there is no significant difference in physical activity between male and female. The significant total is 0.077 plus the null hypothesis is failed to reject. Okay, for the SBQ inferential statistic, the results show that there is significant difference in sedentary behavior between male and female, which is the significant total is 0.045 total the null hypothesis is rejected. Okay, for the chapter 5, which is discussion, this chapter is summarize the data and provide the report findings. Student will test for the physical activity and sedentary behavior in this study. This chapter look at age, gender and cost of study different among UiTM Samaran student. The total number of respondents in this survey or study were UiTM Samaran student, Campus 1 and Campus 2. So the demographic factor determine physical activity and sedentary behavior among UiTM Samaran student. Okay, discussion for physical activity among university student in gender categories, which is IPAC. There were no significant difference between gender among UiTM Samaran student. Women engaged in physical domestic activity, work-related physical activity and transportation activity, which is like walking, and they spend less time in a sitting position. In a physical activity survey, males were found to have higher level of physical activity previous studies, and our results show that the PA levels of men is higher based on result of this study compared to those Tuija 2007, who found out that males more like to respond to physical activity and join physical activity or questionnaire. Males were reported to be more active and respond to questionnaire more. Okay, for sedentary behavior among university student in gender category, which is SBQ, there were significant difference between genders among UiTM Samaran students. In general, the higher gender in sedentary behavior are female compared to male. Female are less interested in physical activity in their spare time compared to student in physical health areas. In our study, girls reported a greater amount of time spent on other sedentary activity. This activity may include homework, which is previously occupied more of girl leisure time compared with men. It's similar to study of Zurich 2019 shows that female will more likely to be sedentary than men. Next, for the conclusion. In general, the result of this study shows that there is no significant difference in physical activity and there is significant difference in sedentary behavior among UiTM Samaran student in gender categories. Besides, physical activity and sedentary behavior help the student be more active in their daily routine. The activity fulfill their time from being wasted with not good activity. Besides that, students can be manage their time in a day with any moderate or vigorous physical activity to ensure their healthy conditions. Some of students can manage their leisure time doing physical activity at least 30 minutes per day. Lastly, for the recommendation, researchers hope that analysis will provide something important for more research studies. Knowing the level of active university student and decreasing the obesity level between students is relevant. The study revealed that there is a high level of physical activity among certain university students because of pandemic COVID-19. Students should be taught how to manage time to do physical activity at leisure time to maintain physical fitness and maintain their mental health and physical health. In the future, researchers recommend that researchers do more research toward physical activity and sedentary behavior for the other demographic difference. Thank you.